two type of integration. One is nothing but a SOAP web service, and another one is nothing but a REST web services. Correct. So SOAP API basically we'll call it as a SOAP API, and another one is nothing but a REST API. Correct. Okay, so there is a difference in SOAP and REST API. Okay, so the data is traveling between a two different system. In SOAP API is nothing but a XML. Okay, so it will go as a XML. Okay, so it will travel as a XML in the SOAP protocol. Okay, so in the case of REST API, so data is traveling as a two types. So either it can travel as a XML over HTTP, or it may be travel as a simple string. Okay, so two ways it is travel. Okay, so in REST API basically we are using XML to send and receive data, or it may be basically string is nothing but a JSON. Okay, so maybe we can use a JSON to travel the data between two different systems. Okay, either from the source to destination, or from the destination to source, both ways. Okay, either we can send XML or we can send as a JSON. Okay, so choosing between a JSON or XML is completely depends on developer. Okay. Clear. So if you are using a XML, then basically we have to parse the XML, and we have to create a object, and we have to process those objects, right? Okay, so if you are using as a JSON, there will be API where it will directly it will give a list of objects, and we can process those objects. Okay, so this is two ways how we can traverse the data between two systems by using SOAP and REST API. Okay, these are general things about SOAP API and REST API. Okay, so when we have to go with the SOAP and when we have to go with the REST API. Okay, there's a second thing. Okay, so the implementation for a REST API is very simple. Okay, implementation for a REST API is a simple. Okay, so like just expose a class as a REST API, and expose those URL and use those URLs. This is very simple. Like it is very simple, and it is very similar to a simple class. Okay. So in case of SOAP API, so if you want to expose web services SOAP, then basically so we have to write more codes in the destination side as well as server side. Okay, so we have to create server side code as well as client side code. Okay, the way of implementing SOAP API is entirely different compared to a REST API. Okay, so we have to use lot of stub files and lot of supporting files in the client machine, where we are actually calling those particular web services. Okay, so clear, right? Any questions so far?
No, that is fine.
Okay, so that is the another thing. Okay, so the choosing between a SOAP and REST API, let's say when we have to go for a SOAP API or when we have to go for a REST API, it is also completely depends on the number of the number of data we are passing from one system to another system. Okay, if it is a huge set of data, so in that case it is better practice to go for a SOAP API. Okay, if it is a huge set of data, so in that case it is better practice to go for a SOAP API. Okay. If it is a limited set of data, if you are passing, then basically we have to go for a REST API. Correct. So if it's a huge set, like if you want to send some 1 lakh of record from one system to another system, record means it's not a single object, so let's consider it's an account object. If you want to send some 50,000 account object from one system to another system, let's say there is some SAP database is there. So once an entry is created in a SAP database, if you want to send all the 50,000 account back to a Salesforce, then basically it is a good practice to go with the SOAP API instead of going for the REST API. Okay, because it is a more relevant, and security purpose also it is a very secure because SOAP API. Because SOAP API, the data will traverse within the SOAP protocol. Okay, where in case of REST API, so it will travel over the HTTP. Correct. So in that case we can send only a limited data in the like REST API body. Okay. This is one thing. Okay, so now directly we will go for example called clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so SOAP API and REST API. Okay, so we'll discuss about the REST API. Okay,
Okay.
so one thing is nothing but how to how to make a authentication. This is one thing. Okay, second thing we will work on, so Java to Salesforce integration. Okay, Java to SFDC integration. Okay, so third thing is nothing but reverse. Okay, so SFDC to okay, so Java Java integration.
Okay.
Okay, so or it may be fourth thing is nothing but SFDC to some so Google or some other API. Okay, so integration. Okay, so fifth thing is nothing but these are nothing but these are all inbound, right?
Yeah.
So Java to Salesforce means this is inbound integration, right? So inbound sorry inbound web service or inbound callouts, correct?
Yeah.
So sub DC to this one, basically this is outbound, right? So we are calling out of the Salesforce, correct? So this is also same thing.
So I have one query here.
Yeah.
Uh, so this Java to SFDC that will take care by the developers, right?
Correct.
So we're just exposing the class or whatever they are looking for.
Yeah, so that is correct. So first I will show you the example, like
Okay.
how
Okay.
we can do it up. Okay, so this side is taken care by developer,
Mhm.
like a third party developer. Let's say you are communicating with some banking domain, then bank people will take care about this, but you have to pass in necessary details, like what is your endpoint, what and all things you have to pass it as a part of request. All those necessary details you have to pass it up.
Mhm.
Clear?
Yeah, so, yeah, clear. Suresh.
Okay, clear, right? Any question?
Yeah, clear. And also, just let me know that, let's say I'm communicating with a client, okay? What are all the things do I need to request from them? Let's say I need to communicate with SAP system console
Mm.
through tester, so whatever it is. So, which are all the things do I need to request from them? And once we got that, then we can start the working on that.
Correct, correct. We will discuss that one. I will we will discuss that one.
Yeah.
Okay, in the further sessions. Okay, so and fifth thing is nothing but how to expose the uh, Apex class as REST web service. Okay, and how to invoke those on okay, so these are the basic things we will learn in the REST API session. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so first we will discuss about how to make a authentication.
Mhm.
Okay, how to make a authentication. So if you observe that, so whenever we are login into a Salesforce, so basically we are providing username and password, right? Correct.
Yeah.
So always you are providing a username and password, correct? So in case of web service or in case of API communication, okay, basically we are not authenticate each call basis on the logins, basically login and password, correct, username and password. So basically we are going for some other mechanism, about SSO, right? Either it may be SSO or whether it may be a auth to authentication, okay, or it may be a something called federation, so federation authentication, okay.
Okay.
So many other authentication will be there, so we can go for any kind of authentication, correct. So these are the different type of authentication will be there. So while making in our case of Salesforce, okay, so we are using auth 2.0 authentication. Okay, so auth 2.0 authentication. Why? Because so for every time you are calling a Salesforce, right, in that case, so basically, so for every call, each and every call should be authenticated between the Salesforce. Okay, why? Because others should not able to access the Salesforce data, correct? For that reason, so basically we are going for auth 2.0 authentication. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, what is nothing but auth 2.0 authentication actually? So auth 2.0 authentication is nothing but, so we have to pass a client secret and client ID, okay, for a Salesforce along with our username and password.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to pass a client ID and client secret. Okay, we
Mhm.
have to pass a client ID and client secret, okay, along with our username and password.
Okay.
Username and password for a Salesforce.
Mhm.
Okay, so in that case what it will do, so Salesforce will validate these our username, password, client ID and client secret, and it will generate one token. Okay, so it will generate one token and send it back to a caller. Okay, and send it back to a caller.
Mhm.
Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so it will send it back to a caller. So then, so whenever we are doing any so whenever doing any call out or calling Salesforce, so basically we have to add this token. Okay, we have to add this token as part of request.
Okay.
Okay, as part of request. Okay,
Mhm.
so what it will happen, so first it will validate our token. Okay, if the token is valid, okay, then basically it is allowed to do any kind of operation. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so if it is a invalid token, then basically it won't allow it to uh, you know for the further process. Okay, it will say invalid token. Okay, clear? Any question?
Yeah, Suresh. And apart from this way, like sending the client ID, client secret, and getting the using the token, requesting for a next call. So, is there any other ways to integrate? Is there any other way to communicate with the third party?
No, no, this is basically from other third party to Salesforce. Okay, so this is from third party to Salesforce.
Uh,
Okay, so this is now we are talking about third party to Salesforce. Okay,
okay.
so later of the session we will talk about Salesforce to third party, how to do those. Okay,
Uh,
clear?
yeah.
Okay, why? Because Salesforce is giving only two options. One is nothing but SSO and another one is nothing but auth 2.0.
Okay.
Okay, if you are calling from some other server, okay, which is SSO integrated, let's say you are having some third party system. Okay,
Okay.
okay, that system also SSO integrated and Salesforce also SSO integrated. In that case, so no need of sending this token and all. It's not
Okay.
required because it's SSO, right? It will take care about that.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, so no need of sending tokens is really required. Okay, so in other case, so basically we have to send a token. This is nothing but a inbound callouts. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
okay, clear?
Yeah, Suresh. Is there any, can you give me a little overview on SSO as well, if you
Yeah, we'll
can?
discuss at the end. This is separate thing, right? So we'll discuss
Oh,
at the end.
okay, okay,
Okay,
fine, fine.
so or if you want to say now, okay.
Yeah, now it is not required. Please go ahead. Later on we can see.
Yeah, so we'll discuss on some other day. SSO is a some server. Okay, if you say, so if you log in into a Gmail, okay,
Okay.
even though if you open YouTube, it is automatically signed in, right?
Yeah.
Or if you open Google Plus or any Google product, so it is automatically signed in.
Okay.
Correct. So that is
Yeah,
nothing but a SSO.
that's actually conceptually I know, but what's the concept of
Yeah, we'll discuss that one. We'll discuss that
uh,
one. Okay, we'll discuss as a separate session.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, so this is clear, right? This auth 2.0 part is clear, right?
Yeah, clear, Suresh.
Okay, if you see this one, so what it will happen, so if you see this particular example, okay, so assume this is a client application.
Okay.
Okay, so what we will do, so client will request for a particular services, okay, from the client application. Okay, so what we are doing, so we are passing the all the authenticated related things like username, password, client id and client secret to this particular authorization system. Okay, this one. Okay, so what it will do, so it will validate our thing. Okay, validate our thing and it will send back to a token to a client application.
Okay.
Okay, so in that case what it will happen, so we are receiving a token, right? So then later, so if you want to access any data, like resource means basically data, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
So we are passing this token along with our particular thing. Let's say if you want to fetch any account or if you want to delete any account, so we are passing this token along with the our specified operation back to a server. Correct.
Good. Yeah.
Correct. In that case, what it will happen before fetching the account details, so it will again send back to a authentication server to check whether token is valid or not. Okay. So if it is a valid, then basically it will send back to a particular data. If it is invalid, then basically it will send back to saying like invalid token. Okay. So this is basically nothing but a Auth 2.0. Okay. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Okay. So now the second thing is this clear, right? Any question?
No, no, no. This is fine.
So now how to get this particular client ID and client secret? This is second thing, correct? So how to get a client ID and client secret? Okay. So if anybody wants to communicate out of a Salesforce, that's why we will call it as a third party, right? Okay. If anybody wants to communicate out of the Salesforce, then basically we have to set a something called connected app. Something called a connected app, right? Okay, something called a connected app. What is nothing but a connected app? So connected app is nothing but it is some configuration from the Salesforce side. Okay, so for getting the client ID and client secret, client ID and client secret. Okay, so what we have to do, so we have to create some configuration that is basically called connected app. So from that basically we can get the connected client ID and client secret. Okay, so we have to use this particular thing in our code. Which code? Third party code. Okay, so third party code, the third party code to get the auth token. Okay, clear? Okay, how to do configuration for connected app now? So go to the setup. Okay, so log into your Salesforce org. Okay, so click on setup. Okay, so go to create, navigate to create, something called apps is there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on that apps. Okay, click on that app. So if you see here something called connected app section here,
Yeah.
correct? Something called connected app section. So click on new. Okay, give some name here. Okay, give some name, could be anything. Okay, so contact email, so you can put some email address here. Okay, so these are all not required. Okay, these are all not required. Okay, so this is thing also not required. This is also not required. Okay,
Okay.
these things are not required. Okay, so here select on this one.
Okay.
Okay, select on this one. There is something called callback URL. Okay, so callback URL, if you know, right? So what has to happen after successful of this operation, correct? So basically we can give some dummy URL here. Okay, so these are all not really required. Callback URL is not required. Callback URL means if you are doing something in case of UI and it has to read at let's say if you are once you make a payment then it will revert back to your order detail page, right? So whenever you are doing any e-commerce related purchasing, so it will go back to some particular order retail page, right? So for that is nothing but a callback URL. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so here, so it is asking for a selected auth scope. Auth scope means what and all things basically people can access. Okay, so Chatter API, Wave API, or APIs, custom permissions. These are different auth scopes. So for time being, so we will select full access. Okay, he can able to do whatever he wants. Okay, so click on save. Clear, right? Any question?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, click on save. Okay, so it will take some time to do the changes. Okay, so click on continue now. Okay, so if you see here, consumer key is nothing but a client ID. Okay, so consumer key is nothing but a client ID. Okay, and consumer secret is nothing but a client secret. This is nothing but a client secret. Okay, so we have to use consumer key and consumer secret in our code in order to get the auth token. Okay, clear?
So without creating this connected app from third party, they cannot communicate with users, right?
Correct. So yeah, so basically what we have to do, so we have to create one connected app and we have to share these details to a third party peoples.
Okay, that may be REST or SOAP or only for REST.
Yeah, anything. So SOAP or REST. In REST, in SOAP API, this is something different way we can get the tokens. Okay. So this is only about the REST API. Okay. So only about the REST API. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, we have to share these details. Okay, so we have to share consumer key and consumer secret, and we have to share some code snippet, like because they don't know how to access, right? So we have to share some code snippet how to get the tokens. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so this is nothing but how to create a connected app. Okay, so once connected app is done, so now we are dealing with the simple Java API, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll discuss about how to communicate between Java to SFDC integration via REST. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, first step is nothing but we have to get the token. Correct? For getting the token, we have to get the client ID and client secret. Okay, and we have to request for a auth endpoint to get the auth token. Okay, so we have to request for a auth endpoint to get a auth token. Correct? Okay, so you worked on Java?
No, Suresh.
No, right? So okay, so this is simple as like Apex only. So no need of digging much actually. So it is very similar to Apex. Okay, Java is similar to, because Apex is derived from Java only. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Java, so basically same thing, we are creating a classes, we are creating all the variables and all. So Java, there is a something called main methods. Okay, so in Java there is a something called a main methods. Okay, main method. Okay, the execution will start from, always it will start from a main method. Okay, for that reason, so we are writing all the code, all the logic within the main method. Okay, this is clear, right? Basic about Java. Okay, so in the REST API there is a different type of methods will be available in REST. Okay, so there will be a different type of methods will be available in REST. One is nothing but a get, one is nothing but a post. Okay, and another one is nothing but a delete. Okay, so post, rest, delete, and sorry, yeah, so another one is nothing but a put. Okay, so get is basically for retrieving the data. Okay, so retrieving the data. So post is basically for creating a data. Okay, delete you know, right? So for deleting a data. Okay, put is basically for updating the data. Okay, post also we can create and we can update the data as well. Okay, put is for updating the data. So these are the different operations we can make it in the REST API.
Yeah.
Operation in REST. Okay, so this will be so this is a common throughout who are using like REST API. So these are the different operations basically we can make it in a REST API. Okay, clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now what we do, create one public static variable. Okay, create one public static variable called client ID and mention our client ID here. Okay, and create one more variable and mention our client secret here. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a one more redirect URL. Okay, we can give any URL like what I mentioned, like www.google.com. We can mention any URL. For time being I gave some other URL. Okay, so clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so mention some token URL. So token URL is nothing but it is a web service endpoint. Okay, it is a web service endpoint. This is nothing but a token URL. This is a web service endpoint.
Switch.
Sorry, come again.
What is token and what is the purpose of that?
Yeah, I'll come to that point. Okay,
Okay.
so hold on for a minute. Okay, these are nothing but environment URL. Okay, so like username and password. Okay, so URL. So if it is a developer edition or it is a production edition, it will be login. For rest of the thing, it will be test.
Okay.
Okay, username and password. Password is nothing but if it is a developer edition, password plus security token. Okay, token you know, right? Security token.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's a production and some other sandbox, full sandbox and all, only the what you call only password.
No, security token.
Sorry,
I mean, security token is required in production.
production it's not required. Production it's not required, and also I think in full copy sandbox also it is not required, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, for rest of the thing it is required.
Mhm.
Okay, clear, right?
Yeah, great.
Okay, the access token and instance URL are two other variable. So for holding the token. Okay, auth token.
Okay.
Okay, so now we got all these details, right? Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Salesforce itself having some standard REST APIs.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
Salesforce itself having some standard REST APIs. Correct? So
Yeah.
now we have discussed about how to get the auth token. Correct? So how to get the auth token. Correct? For that itself, Salesforce is providing their web services.
Okay.
Okay, for getting those particular token itself, so Salesforce is providing some endpoints. Okay,
Okay.
basically we'll call web service URL or it may be endpoint. Okay, so if you say token URL, so this is nothing but a endpoint. Environment is nothing but this one.
Okay.
Okay, appending with this one slash services slash auth2 and token. So if you see here, this is a complete auth 2.0 endpoint.
Okay. That's true.
Okay, so this is the endpoint. It is provided by Salesforce. Okay, so we can call this particular endpoint by passing all these parameters. Then basically it is going to provide a access token back. Clear? Now it is clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so how to call a like web service API actually? How to call a web service API? For calling a web service API, so there is a some class in Java called HTTP client.
Okay.
Okay, in Salesforce there is something called HTTP. We'll discuss later. Okay, so in Java there is a something called HTTP client. So it is nothing but a it is a supported calls which is used for calling a REST web services. Okay, so now we are dealing with a post. Okay, so we are calling a post method in order to get the what access token, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to create a instance of the post method. Post method also it is one of the class. Okay, so create a post method, okay, by passing this particular URL. Okay, and add all these parameter like grant type is equal to password, client ID is a client ID, client secret, redirect URL, username and password. Is that
Okay.
clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, pass all the necessary parameters here. Okay, in the HTTP client, so there is a one method called execute method. Okay, so there is a some, these are inbuilt methods. Okay, don't worry about these things, these are nothing but inbuilt method. Okay, so there is a something called execute method. Okay, for execute method, so basically pass the this particular post method. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Pass this particular post object here because it is holding all the necessary details, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so once this is done, so we are calling a their web service endpoint, right? Correct. So it
Yeah.
is going to send back a response. Okay, clear? So it
Yeah.
is going to send back a particular response. Okay, so this is nothing but a response. Okay, so if you say post dot get response, if you say post dot get, okay, so these are the particular responses. If you see here, see a response body, a response body as a stream, or response body as a string.
Okay.
Okay, so these are nothing but basically a responses which is sending from that particular calling method. Okay, if you see here, okay, so response before pass. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So auth response after pass. Okay, so what here we are doing is nothing but, so response will come as a JSON. Okay, so response will come as a JSON. Okay, so we are using something called JSON tokener, okay, to pass the JSON.
Okay.
Okay, in Java there is a something called JSON tokener in order to pass the JSON. Okay, so it is giving a ready-made JSON object. JSON is nothing but a key value pair, right? It is nothing but a key value pair. Okay,
Yeah.
clear? So we are passing that JSON. So this is basically a kind of map. Okay, so it is holding the key and value. Okay, so by using auth response dot get a string of access token means it is going to give a token here, and if you say instance URL, then basically it is passing a URL here. Okay, clear? Till here clear?
Yeah, it is fine.
It is nothing but a passing the response. Okay, so parsing the JSON response.
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, so in these steps basically we are getting the access token and instance URL. These are the two properties, right? See here, access token and instance URL. So we are assigning those values back to these particular variables. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, whoever wants to call our any website, basically this is the basic way he has to get the access token. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So this is the way where we can get the access token. Once access token he received, then he has to go for a further activity like creating account or deleting account or so on so on. Okay, clear? Okay, fine. So now let me execute this particular Java code. Okay, so before executing the Java code, make sure you have to if you want to try this example, then basically you have to install a Java. Okay, so install Java. You know, right, how to install Java?
Yeah.
Okay, so then install Eclipse. Okay, I will share this code. Basically import this code. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
this code, you know how to import this code. So what we have to do, so create a new project. Okay, so create a new project. Okay, Java project. Okay, here is there, right? So give some name and import it. Import that particular zip file. I'll share you this file. Okay, so that you can import it up and you can see this. You can execute it up basically. Okay, create a connected app in your machine and pass your client ID, client secret, username and password. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I will do, just I will right click on this particular class. I'll go to run as.
Okay.
Okay, and click on second option, Java application.
Okay.
Getting token. Okay, see if you see this one, response before pass. Okay, if you say response before pass, it come as a just line string, right?
Yeah.
See here, it come as a just one line of string actually. Okay, this is nothing but a auth response after pass. See here how it looks like. It is looks like somewhat like map, right?
Yeah.
Like key value, key value, key value, key value path. Okay, if you see here, this is nothing but an instance URL. Instance URL is nothing but basically which Salesforce server is free. Now it is a AP1.
Okay.
AP1 is an instance which is available right now. Okay, so token type is a bearer. So there is a many type of tokens. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is of the type bearer token. Okay, so these are nothing but access token. These are nothing but a tokens which is sent it back from the Salesforce server. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
We have to use this particular token and this particular instance URL in order to perform some other option like creating account or deleting account or updating account, so on so on. We have to pass these two tokens as part of our request to validate the call. Okay, clear? Any question?
No.
Okay, this is clear, right? This is nothing but before parsing the JSON. This is nothing but after passing the JSON.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Any question?
No, Suresh. This is fine.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
So now what we will do? So now we'll go and create some account. So now we know how to get the access token and instance URL, right? Okay. So now we'll go and create some accounts in our system. Okay, we'll go and create some accounts in our system. So we know, right? So for creating a account, so for creating any data, basically we have to go for a post method, right? Correct. For creating any data, basically we have to go for some post method. Correct. Okay, so what we have to do is nothing but so create a same thing HTTP client in order to call the post method. Okay, create one JSON object here.
Okay.
Okay, create one JSON object and mention all this name, account name or site or so on so on.
Okay.
Okay, this is clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, mention all your details here, account details like what and all parameters here. This should be a field API. Okay, field API. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, this could be your data.
Okay.
Okay, this could be your data here. Account number. Okay, so we know, right? So for a post method, okay, so create a post method. If you see here, this is a post method and pass our instance URL. Okay, instance URL which we received recently, this one. Okay, I am here dynamically passing this one. Okay, this is a web service API for creating an account. Services / data v20.0 yes object is account. This is nothing but a web service API for creating an account. Okay, clear? Okay, so in the header basically we have to set the token here in the header, authorization, bearer and pass the token here. Okay, for the post body, this is request entity is nothing but it is a body. Okay, this is our JSON object, right? So convert the JSON object into a string and set it to request header. This is a request header and this is a request body. We basically will call it as a request entity, or it may be a request body. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Okay. After that, same thing, HTTP client dot execute method for executing our request. Executing the request. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is nothing but once the execution is done, so this is nothing but a getting the response what exactly it is happened.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I will go and execute this method. So I will call this method create account. Okay, this call this method. This is static method, this is a private method, right? Just call this method. Okay, passing instance URL and access token. Okay, it's clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now go and execute this method. See here, it has passed the ID of the new record ID is this one.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go and search it in your particular application, right? So here we can able to see the our method. See here, Shaker Giant and REST API.
Yeah.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something better. Once you execute that one, same thing. So we have to process the response body here. Okay, once you pass the response body, okay, then basically we can able to get the response here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is nothing but a response. It will show only three things: ID, error, success or pass. Okay, from ID you got the ID. For if you want to do some any further operation, then basically you have to get ID, right? So you have to get the ID. Okay, clear? Clear, right?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
And these are right. I mean, 201, 400. So, do we have any list of those things? What could be the
Sorry, come again, come again.
I mean, HTTP error codes, right? 201, 400 and 500.
Yeah, these are, see, these are the HTTP codes, right? So these are the standard codes. Okay, so if you go to uh, okay, so these are the HTTP status code. Okay, different codes. Okay, so if you say here 303 302, this URI is not found. Okay, let's say if you are passing some URL here, which URL is not a valid URL, it is not found, then basically it is going to send us a this particular code like that. These are the standard things. Okay, it is not respect to Salesforce or Java or something. Let's say 401 or 402 payment required, code is reserved for future use. Okay, so 404 is not found, something. These are the standard things. Okay, these are the standard things which is given by a REST people, like REST design pattern. Okay, who are using REST API, so the same set of code will come. If it's a timeout, okay, so we are requesting something and it is taking too long time, then basically it is going to send a 408 code. Okay, if there is a something and some more authentication required, like proxy authentication, then basically we have to go for a 407 code. Okay, so on. So these are nothing but different codes. Okay, if a request entity is too large, let's say we are sending a body as a request entity, right? Let's say if you see here, this is a request entity, we are sending a huge set of data. Okay, in that case it is, if it is a too large, if it exceeds that particular limit, okay, then basically it will send 413 code. Request entity is too large.
Okay, so in that case, what we can overcome, Suresh? I mean, how to get out of that? I mean, how can we achieve that one? Let's say if you wanted to send too much of data.
Yeah, that's what. So what we have to do in that case, so if you want to go as a REST API, then basically you have to split the record, you have to send it one by one. Let's say send 100, make a for loop and send 100 records once, 100 records again, 100 records again, like that.
So in that case, is there any private limitation? Nothing, right? Let's
No,
say.
because see, this is basically from third-party application to Java, Java to Salesforce, right?
Okay.
Because Java there is no, like no limits, right? Correct. So like that we can use it up.
Okay.
Clear. So once you come to Salesforce, then basically we'll talk about limits.
Yeah, sure.
Since it is a Java, so then we can make it as a batches, right? Send it as a thousand records. So however it will process, go and process.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just for a creating a account. Okay. This is for a just for a creating a accounts.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So another thing is nothing but how to query the records. In the sense how to fetch the records. Okay, how to fetch the record. So for fetching, so basically we are going for which one? Basically get, right? So basically we are going for a get method, right? Okay, so create a get method object and pass our URL. The URL will be different. Okay, if you see here, previously this URL was s object account we passed, right? If you see here v 2.0 we are mentioning a query. Okay, we are mentioning a query. Okay, set the header, you know, right? How to set the header.
Yeah.
Okay, set the header. So this is nothing but for mentioning a query. If you want to mention any query, so then basically create one name value pair object. Okay, in the HTTP client itself they are providing name value pair object. Okay, and set the query here.
Okay.
Set the query. Okay, so pass this particular query to this particular method. Set query string. Set the query string here. You got it right? This one clear?
Yeah.
Okay, name value pair is a one class. Okay, from that class basically pass your query here. Okay, from that query set it to this particular get method.
Okay.
Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if you want to pass any like filter, then basically you have to go something like this: param1 name value pair employee ID. Okay, employee ID is equal to in that case. So basically this is for setting the filter. Setting the filter. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Clear, right?
So can't put the like employee ID very itself.
Your voice is somewhat breaking.
So you were saying to set the filter, we need to put that line, right?
Yeah.
So can't we put the same filter in that?
Where here?
Yeah.
Yeah, here also we can put actually.
Okay, better.
Okay, here also we can put. We can write out. Okay. Once that is done, okay. So once that is done, so basically same thing. So use a HTTP, client to run those particular thing.
Okay.
Okay, so we know, right? So what it will happen? So then status code will come. The status code will be 200. If it's a success, then basically 200 status code will come. Okay, so from that basically we know, right? This is just for parsing the data. Correct? So parsing the output here. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, query response. Okay, clear? Any question?
No. Yeah.
Clear, right? This set of code just for parsing the things. Okay,
Okay.
clear, right? Any question?
No question.
Okay, so let me run this particular thing. Show account with query. So let me comment this particular thing and let me do this particular thing. Okay, so go and same thing, run as Java. See here, so these many records has retrieved from the our database. Okay, total 36 records. Okay, so it will come as a JSON format. This is nothing but a JSON. Okay. Okay, so what is nothing but this is nothing but a JSON. Okay, this is basically here coming as a list of values, correct, or response. Okay, so this is nothing but a list of record it will come. Okay, if you see here, this is nothing but a list of records. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, name, try the.
Are we mentioning in the header which format to be in the mean JSON? Like,
Yeah, while retrieving, right? So
yeah,
by default it will come as a JSON here. Okay, so this is for by default it will come as a JSON.
okay.
Okay, we'll discuss that on how to get a XML based values. Okay, how to
Okay.
retrieve XML based things. Okay, this is clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so that is nothing but just for querying the that particular records, either it is a from account or it may be any custom object. Okay, clear, right?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So this is the same thing. So instead of mentioning a query, if you want to query a specific record like account by passing specific record, then basically we can go like this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so instead of setting the something like this is like generic thing, right? We can pass account, contact, or whatever it may be, correct? So it will query the things. So in that case, so if you want to specifically querying the account object, then basically the URL will be something like this: account/account ID. So based on that, it will query only the account, so we can't pass any other values. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so come again.
No, no, it's clear.
Okay, so this is another method called delete method. Okay, another option called delete. Okay, so delete, we are passing subject dot account here. Same thing with respect to how we are querying the particular account, right? Same thing, we are passing as account, we are passing account ID. Just execute this particular method, so it is going to delete it off.
Okay. Let's say to delete the bulk records. In that case,
Sorry.
let's say if you wanted to delete the bulk records,
Huh?
then in that case, this URL won't work, right?
Yeah,
Instance.
this URL it won't work actually. If you want to delete it a bulk record, I think so. I don't know whether it's support or not. I have to try it out. I guess maybe we let me try this one. I didn't try it
Okay.
actually. So maybe you have to pass some list or something to do that one.
Okay.
Okay. So this is for us sending a single record. Okay, we will be, I'll check so whether how to possible to delete a bulk record. Okay, this one clear, right? Deleting it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is simple thing for deleting it off. Okay, so in case of if you want to update any record, okay, if you want to update any record, let's say in that case, so basically we have to go for some method called post method, so which is actually a patch method. Okay, patch or put, basically we'll call it as a patch method. Okay, so put and post are both are same. Okay, put and post both work same, put or post.
Okay.
Okay, in case of patch method, so basically we can for updating the things.
Okay.
Okay, post or put method, so basically it will work same. Patch method is basically for updating the data. Okay, how to do that? So patch is actually still it is in a beta version. Okay, for that reason what they have did is nothing but, so we are mentioning something like this. Okay, post method pass that particular thing here. Okay, okay, so pass the account ID, something called we have to do like this: override string get name of patch. In that case it will make this particular method as a patch method.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the standard things given by REST API things. Okay, so rest of the things are same thing: request header, set the entity and execute this particular method. So in that case it is go and update the name to this particular thing. Okay, clear? So what
Yeah.
we'll do, so mahi patch updated, right? So we'll go and try it out that delete thing. Okay, so maybe you can try it out that particular delete thing. Okay, so let me, you clear, right?
Yeah, I'm clear that. Just about jar files, I'll also try it out from
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I will send the entire thing. Don't worry. Updating the account.
So,
Go here.
so Salesforce about all these HTTPs and all will be the same source from Java.
Come again.
All these put the everything similar, even source point, or it's either in a difference from Java and so forth.
There is only some differences. Like now, let's say if we are saying we are using HTTP client for calling, right? So there we are using HTTP.
Okay.
So why I'm explaining Java is nothing but the way we are doing everything is very similar to this thing. Okay. So here we are using HTTP client to call a execute. Here we have something called execute method is there, right? Where is that? Here execute method is there, right? There we are using class called HTTP. Okay, here we are using HTTP client. Here we are using method called execute method. Execute method. There is a method called just execute. Okay, some minor changes will be there. So that's it. Okay, this is for just for understanding purpose. I am taking for a Java to Salesforce because we don't know, right, how other peoples are calling Salesforce. This is something called we are guessing it up. So to overcome that, so I usually basically I will cover these things like how others can call the Salesforce, what kind of things they will do, so that we will get some clear picture, right?
Yeah, this is at least a basic view we can understand.
Correct, correct. See here now it got updated to patch method.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the major thing. Okay, so how to create it by using a post method, how to retrieve it by using a get method, how to update by using a patch method, and how to delete by using a delete method. Okay, so these are the major thing basically we will use. Okay, so just I will share the code, just practice it up. Okay, and if you have any some special questions or something,